Meine Damen und Herren, heute auf Deutsch. Wir haben einen speziellen Gast.
Ladies and gentlemen, today in German we have a special guest, but for all the others we have translation.
3 Spanisch und 4 Deutsch.
English on 1, French on 2, Spanish on 3, and German on 4. We have the President here, President Blatter, Secretary General Jérôme Balk, a special guest Dr. Theo Zwanziger, who will comment on a specific subject. For openers, I would like to say that we're pressed for time. 15:15 at 3:15 p.m. we will have to stop. So I'd like to give the floor to the President right away.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will start with this special day today because it is the United Nations Day for Elimination of Discrimination and Racism. There is a meeting in Geneva under the auspices of the United Nations, and the chair of our task force, Jeffrey Webb, has sent a special message at this very, very moment. In the same time now we are playing in Costa Rica, the FIFA's Under-17 Women World Cup in Costa Rica, and after 16 matches, more than 160,000 spectators were present. The opening match has seen 46,000 spectators in Costa Rica, footballing country for men, but this was for women football. So, having said that, I come back to the press conference. Today's press conference with you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We have had a meeting of the FIFA Executive Committee during yesterday and today. We have had 4 hours, 10 minutes yesterday and 3 hours, 20 minutes today. So it's a long time, but it was a good meeting. At least this was the impression given by the reaction of the members. And also we had a good unity in all the problems. We were reporting, we were taking decisions, and most of the problems have been solved. There is one big item we have had on the agenda. It is the preparing of the agenda of the FIFA Congress, and we have cleaned and cleared some items that will be on the agenda. I'm sure somewhere in the press release the most important item will be there. When I am speaking about other matters that we have, or important matters we have discussed and taken knowledge of it, I'm happy that Kosovo could play its first football match in Kosovo, a non-member of FIFA against a FIFA member. The FIFA member was coming from far away. It was from Haiti. And this is to show that football can bring people together, and this is the solution we shall have also in connection to bring people together. Just to say that the two club teams, they are from the Crim, and they are playing in the professional league in the Ukraine. They will end the season with the rest of the teams. The two teams, professional teams, they are part of the Ukraine Professional League in Crim. They will end the season with the other teams in Ukraine. It is an agreement which has been made by all the participating parties, endorsed by UEFA and by FIFA. In the FIFA's governing process, There are two items which have not yet been solved and which will be presented at the Congress, and this is now the age limit and the limitation of the term of offices, and these items will be on the agenda of the executive of the Congress. We have also taken the decision after hearing a very interesting report from the leader of Task Force for Women's Football, Mrs. Moya Dot. She's present here. She's a co-opted member in the FIFA Executive Committee and Vice President of the Asian Football Confederation. We have also taken the decision that the two co-opted ladies, that they are actually in the FIFA Executive Committee, Ms. Moya Dot and Ms. Sonia Bianeme, they will be, if the Congress will do so, but I'm sure they will be, the cooptation will be for 1 year more, and we will then in 2005 take final decision about the participation or the number of ladies that will be in FIFA's Executive Committee in future, which is perhaps not so easy as to confirm, to co-opt for 1 year more the two ladies here. We have had also the financial report. The General Secretary will have the opportunity to speak about the finances. We are still we are in a comfortable situation. We have had a discussion on items that is on the actuality today, and one of these items is Qatar. And in Qatar, we are speaking about the problems of the workers in Qatar, and according to the decision taken by the last Executive Committee in December, we have started to work in closer cooperation with all the different NGOs and political organizations, listening to them, what they want in dialogue, in open dialogue. We insist to say that the responsibility first relies on the state of Qatar, secondly on the companies they are employing their workers, because when I transported it to the FIFA, we have in the FIFA 400 people working for us, and I would say then the president or chief of administration is responsible for all them, for their welfare. So the big companies working there, they shall be responsible for the workers. We have part of responsibility, but we cannot interfere in the workers' unions, workers' rights. But what we can do is to use the football and to help to solve this problem. I have had just a discussion, telephone discussion with Sheikh Shasim on this matter, that he confirming all the will of the state of Qatar to try and to help this problem. More on this item, and this is a very important one. I just give the floor now to Dr. Zwanziger, who has been mandated by the FIFA president to deal with this matter, and especially when it comes to the so-called human rights. I put it in brackets. And now, Dr. Zwanziger, you have the floor.
Mr. President, thank you very much. I will gladly add some information to what has already been said. And I'm very grateful that the president of FIFA is looking into this chapter, regardless of the attributions and responsibilities, since we all see the people involved. Now, when you see that on the news, you cannot remain on the surface and remain indifferent. And prior to that, there was a conversation between the president of the German Football Association and the German head of the Trade Unions Association in FIFA, together with President Blatter, and it was pointed out that this situation is untenable. And it was also important to speak to the Supreme Committee of Qatar and also talk to the human rights associations and the trade unions to analyze together the situation, what is really happening, to find out what is going on, what can be done according to your responsibilities, what can be done to remedy this situation in a decisive manner. And then, of course, contracts are being mentioned, and the legal disposition, then the accommodation and the quality of the housing, the payment of salaries, the health condition, and something which is also very important, the controls. Are there sufficient inspectors to carry out controls, and is there a possibility to complain against the situation? So there were consultations with the trade unions, with the human rights associations and politics, and Brussels was also involved. And over again, we spoke with the people responsible for football on the spot, spoke to their representatives. My impression is that the people responsible in Qatar are realizing how important it is to improve the situation in Qatar. We're getting regularly letters and reports on what they're doing and what actions they have started. And we will do our part, what football can do. And the important thing is that it has been decided to hold this World Cup 2022 in Qatar. So, of course, this is no longer a question. So now there's a magnifying glass over Qatar, looking into what they're doing, and they have to come clear with that. We're not responsibly politically, that is the government. We're not a trade union, but we can represent the values that are represented by football. We can go and analyze the situation. We can try to help the people with our means. The situation now is the following. In the next fortnight, there will be visits by political institutions in Qatar. I've spoken to the responsible people in Qatar, and I've told them we want honest reports. Only if you have clean and clear facts, you can continue with the talks. And that I know that you agree, President. I can say that today in the Executive Committee, it was said very clearly that FIFA too will stage a visit to Qatar. And I believe that the President is considering doing that personally, because we must get a clear picture in Qatar itself. And on the basis of this impression of the visit, we will have further talks, and we expect, and I'm saying this quite clearly, we expect that other people who are also responsible for certain things, the companies building there and making money, that they also have a clear stance. And there's also politics. There's politicians cooperating with Qatar, and that we all cooperate. And this is what we want to do, improve the human rights situation in that country. And if this is your stance without invading competences and remits, but cooperating with people having their share of commitment and responsibility, then this should also be emulated by football. Because football is not just FIFA. Football is an overarching principle. There is encounters by clubs and associations. People meet within football, and one can expect that once one is in the country itself, that one would mention this situation. So I think this is the path that we will follow, and we hope that we will reach an improvement of the situation.
Dieser Rapport von Dr. Zwanziger.
This report by Dr. Zwanziger was not only heard, but also approved by a huge majority in the Executive Committee. There were perhaps one or two who were not entirely in agreement with his proposal, but the black eye he has, black and blue eye, does not stem from any fist fight in the Executive Committee, but from something else. In the case of Qatar, I would like to mention something else. It's not just about football in Qatar. From the beginning of this year, there were WTA tournaments staged. There was a bicycle race staged. Football clubs went for their winter training to Qatar, and nobody said anything. And sports should be in solidarity with each other and take a look at what's happening. And by the way, they're only beginning now to build stadia. They didn't build any stadia before this, and they want to make this country big. Now, we can say something very positive. Secretary General, you could perhaps comment briefly on Brazil and then the mention of finances. That would be a good thing.
Firstly, about Brazil, because I'm sure that being 80 days away from the World Cup, it should be one of the main interests. We have had, for sure, a report at this executive committee, but also at the organizing committee meeting, which took place at the beginning of the week. More important, we have people in Brazil, in the, let's say, two locations where there are some issues or remaining issues, or main issues, which are Porto Alegre and Sao Paulo. I'm flying to Brazil on Sunday, which is not very important, but more important, I have been told that by Monday evening and Tuesday I should receive positive information about the situation in these two cities, and by the end of the week the main concern could disappear, and we should be in a situation which is definitely more comfortable by the end of next week. Again, it's phone calls I have had. I had a phone call with the Brazilian authorities 1 hour ago, and I'm waiting to have this meeting on Monday afternoon in Rio with the authorities and the cities to discuss the situation. Regarding finances, we have the financial report. I am under the pressure of the chairman of the Audit and Compliance Committee, Domenico Scala, who is sitting here, as the Chief Financial Officer of FIFA, Markus Kattner. I think, and I want to repeat what Domenico Scala said, that for the first time in this financial report, there is also a governance report, which is very important. We have, as you have seen, we had a good year at the end. We have made, for the first time, we have reached the highest ever level of income at FIFA with $1.386 million US dollars. And we have a final result due to expensive of 1.314. We have a final result, a positive result of 72 million. So it is 2013 a good year. We have a level of reserve which is 1.4 billion 32. So we have just increased a little bit our reserve, but still, I mean, we have to face an important time, and the final cost of the World Cup is not clear. We have the most important part of our financial year, I would say, in regard of expenses in front of us. Having said that, there is anything I should say more? Marcus, no? You're happy with that?
The report is possible.
They received already the report, the financial report, so you can go through, and it's full of information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we go to the Q&As, and as always, just tell us your name and the publication you're working for. One question each, please, so we don't take time for the others. So we start with here. Just wait for the microphone. Yeah, Rodrigo, first.
No.
Okay. Yeah, the dot. Yeah.
Hi, Rodrigo Matos from WAL, from Brazil. You are talking about the issues of the World Cup. The special issue is the complementary and the cities for the Arena Corinthians, which is the opening. We heard that there is like a plan for although there is not a schedule, there is a plan to resolve things. So like an update on how do you see the thing. And if you could also talk about this revenue, record revenue you got organizing the World Cup in Brazil. It seems that there's a lot of problems, but it is a very profitable event for FIFA.
Firstly, talking about Corinthians Arena, that's the purpose of the meeting I will have on Monday. So I understood that the financial issue has been solved, and now we have to make sure that, because we only have 80 days, that we can perform and implement all the needs we have in order to install the temporary facilities on time for the ITNT, the TV compound, because as you know and as you said, it's the opening game, and it will be as busy as for the final game in regards of the needs for the media, the hospitality. We have it's a sold-out game, as the final is sold out, as a number of games are sold out. I mean, it's also not moving to what you said about the commercial success. Firstly, most, if not a majority of the rights were sold before even Brazil got the World Cup. The success is football. Football is as strong as the strongest sport in the world and remain the strongest sport for the future. And it's amazing to see that in a world which is facing difficult time, whenever, as it is the case for other entities, the English Premier League or other right owners, whenever we are going on the market selling our rights for the future, because we are selling 26 and 30, we are always in an increase mode. There is no reduction of the income for the FIFA World Cup. That's something I can say. For the sales of the rights for 26-30, we will make more money for Russia and we will make more money for Qatar. And if it is as it is, we'll make more money for the World Cup 26. So it's not linked anymore to where the World Cup is played. It's linked to football and to the value of the World Cup itself, because every 4 years you have this event, which is just a unique event. And ticket sales in Brazil, it's true, reach a record. And ticket sales and hospitality sales in Brazil are above all what we have done in the past. And it's a great success, which shows that Brazil is a land of football, and not only Brazilians, but people from abroad, they definitely want to come to Brazil.
Brian, here, first one. Ça, c'est une chose positive. Grâce au résultat.
Good afternoon. Just wondered how you felt about the decision the Brazilian government announced this week to impose no-fly zones around stadiums on World Cup days, which means in some cases the commercial airports will have to close. We reckon about 800 flights will have to be rerouted or cancelled. Do you not feel that they should have done this a year ago rather than leaving it till 2 months in advance? Because it's going to create an awful lot of problems for visiting fans who bought their tickets a year ago at great expense.
What we have been told, because it was a question we asked the local organizing committee at the organizing committee meeting last Monday, we asked the question and the answer was that it will not touch the commercial flights which are already been registered, meaning that for the fans, for the media, for the officials, for whomever will have to fly, it will not be an issue. What it is said is that it is to avoid flights around the host cities whenever there is a match day. And it's not to cancel or to forbid flights which have to land in the host city and to take off from the host city before or after the game. Clearly, it is something which was said by the local organizing committee at the next board meeting. As always, we have representatives from the air traffic department from Brasilia, and we'll make sure again, because you know that we have asked for additional commercial flights, we have asked for additional slots to make sure that again, whomever wants to fly between the host cities will have the potential to do so without having to go via Rio or Sao Paulo. So just to make sure that the life of the fans, again of you, will be easier than it is in a normal airspace in Brazil.
This guy, yeah, and then after you. Please, before with the brille.
Hello, Ben Bryan, the Daily Telegraph. Mr. Blatter, following the Telegraph's disclosures this week, are you confident bribes were not paid to the 22 voting members of the Executive Committee in order to secure their votes in the 2018 and 2022 World Cup ballots?
Thank you for your question. We have a statement by the chairman of the Independent Ethics Committee that the Director of Communication read to you.
Thank you, President.
Will you rerun the vote?
Sorry, can I just read that first? Maybe this clears it. The Ethics Committee is aware of the material identified in the published article. That's what the Garcia says. As with any allegations of misconduct by football officials, the Ethics Committee will take whatever action it feels it is appropriate. More than that, at that stage, we cannot say, and so there is no need to ask again. That's what we can say. Otherwise,
the Ethics Committee is an independent organization inside FIFA. They have taken up now this case, and it is in the hands of the investigatory chamber of the Ethics Committee. I have not even the right, and I don't want to make any comments on that until they have finished their work.
sorry. It's not a one-to-one interview. Next one, please, over there. Thanks. Yeah, please, over there. Thank you.
Yeah, hello. I'm Peter Burkhardt, Swiss Weekly Schweizer Sonntag. I found a quite disturbing statement in your annual report, namely FIFA considers the governance reform process to be successfully accomplished. Are you sure about that? And which further reforms are you waiting for on FIFA level and on your national associations level?
In English? When we started our reform process in 2011, we started already at that time by the introduction of an independent ethics committee. There was one. By the introduction of an independent committee for control, and in addition to that, we have said we need help in a committee which we called at the time Committee for Solutions. And in addition, we have said we want to have a woman in the executive committee which has. In this Committee for Solution, we have then I have contacted Professor Piet, who is a specialist in governance and governance and whatever he's doing, liability, all these. He has an institute in Basel at the university. We sat together, and I told him, I need your help. So he put together an independent committee, the ITG, and this independent committee was composed by members of the FIFA family, but not from the FIFA executive. One member was here. He's now a member of the executive committee, and he was a member, Sunil Gulati from the United States of America. And he put together some specialists in the different items we were looking for to bring the FIFA into a better, I would say, better appreciation or perception. And then he made a lot of proposals. And then we started to adopt these proposals. And at the end, and he will now, this committee will give the final report until at least the next Congress, because we have stopped the work with them. And in this report, you will then see that from, let's say, 10 or 12 proposals he has made, we have adopted 80% totally. There are one or two which we are not exactly in the line he wanted to have. What is concerning integrity checks, he wanted to have it on a very high level. We said it's trust and confidence. We put the integrity check in the associations, in the confederations. And then there was 2 items which were left. If there shall be an age limit or an limitation of mandates. And this has not been solved, couldn't be solved by consensus by the Executive Committee. The same was then said today, so we bring it to the Congress for decision. But the next step of our process, reform process, depending what will happen in the elections in 2015, the next step must be also that we have a look on the sports political organization of FIFA. We are bound by the principle of democracy. We have 209 national associations. We have an executive committee, and to be exactly in the line of democracy, the executive committee should be composed with a number of members, depending on the number of members they are in the different confederations. And this would then change the composition of the executive committee, where nowadays one of the confederations have 8 votes and 3 vice presidents. And this is a matter for a next, let's say, process for reform. We don't need to reform the game because the game is good. What we have made also is to reform or to relaunch, if I can say that, the International Football Association Board, which is now an independent legal entity. They will enter also into the statutes of FIFA. They have a secretariat here in Zurich, but the composition remains the same, but the procedure to go to the decision has totally changed by having the consultation of 2 panels, a technical panel and a football panel, and these 2 panels being contacted twice before going to the final decision. Other reforms, the Congress will decide if we shall take more reforms. We are happy. What is important now, ladies and gentlemen, is that the reforms, they have been adopted by the Congress, voted by the Congress. For instance, the Committee for Audit and Compliance, easier to go forward than the Committee for Ethics. Can you imagine? There are big associations, actually, big associations in Europe, and they have said we don't need an ethics committee. But when decisions have been taken by the Congress, the implementation of the decisions of the Congress, they must be adopted. And this concerns also the fight against racism and discrimination. This is easier to do, but I just insist that there are problems and difficulties also on level of confederation to convince them that they need an ethics committee. It's not only FIFA can have an ethics committee and be the tribunal for 209 associations and 300 million active participants in football. That is not possible. But our reform process going to an end, but finally it will never end, because when you start to reform, there is always something to do.
Thank you. In addition to what the President said, on page 38 and 39 of the financial report, you find a summary of all the reforms already implemented. So next question here. Thank you.
Andrea Ramazzotti, Corriere dello Sport, President Blatter, hi. In Italian world of football, a lot of coach, a lot of player, but also the president of Italian Serie A Liga, Mr. Beretta, asked that in the future the referee could use the slow motion, the replay during the game. Do you think that it could be something possible in the future for the world of football in general?
Thank you for this question. Is that what you call the moviola in Italy? That's that. And I have to answer that this was an item which was on the agenda of the International Board now. And the International Board has taken a decision, not only now, but also in the former years, when the decision was taken that goal line technology can be used. And goal line technology, it has been said, is the only technology on the field of play that shall be used. But technology, television can be used after the match by the control bodies of the competition to look at, to see if the decisions of the referees were correct when it comes to yellow card or red card, but not, and then this control committee can then decide it was wrong, or it was good, or it was not severe enough, whatever. But never in a situation in offside position, or it was in or out the 18 yards mark.
Yes, Graham, please, and then we go over there.
Okay. Graham Dunbar from the Associated Press. Returning for a minute to the reports this week from the Daily Telegraph, I mean, what seemed to grab attention was the fact that this seemed to show that a Confederation president did not support the only candidate from his region and was perhaps paid by a senior member of the winning bid, which seems like a betrayal of trust of the kind that could undermine the integrity of the bid. I mean, from your experience of nearly 40 years of FIFA, I mean, how does that make you feel in terms of what you understand to be the responsibilities of a Confederation president?
Thank you for the practically 40 years. It's now 39 years and 2 months, or 1 month. That's okay. Thank you. But I'm happy that now we have an independent committee for ethics, and this is a matter now to be dealt by this committee. You have listened to the statement that the chair of this committee has made, and I'm not going to make any comments on that. Please understand this situation as long as this file is open with the President. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir. James Carroll from SNTV. I'd like to ask you about the Daily Telegraph's reports as well. I know you said you're not going to comment on it, but if it is found out that members of the Executive Committee have been bribed and the World Cup has been awarded to Qatar, will you consider having a revote?
To whom is this question? To me?
Yeah, it's to you.
Yeah. I can only answer what I've said, and I'm not a prophet to see what will come out of any problems we have actually in the international football, and this problem is now dealt with by independent party, and let them deal with this problem. And once dealt, we come back, and then we can have this dialogue about the responsibilities or not.
Yes, please. Yes, go.
Alex Capstick, BBC. Mr. President, you mentioned Russia and Crimea, and I just wondered, there have been some calls from British politicians, American politicians, to take the 2018 World Cup away from Russia. Is that something FIFA would consider either now or in the future if things deteriorate?
During the Executive Committee of today, we have received by a member of our Executive Committee, Mr. Vitaly Mutko. He's also the sports minister of Russia, an intermediate report on the organization of the World Cup 2018 in Russia, and there was we have no any moves to have something changed. This World Cup has been given or has been voted to Russia, and we are going forward with our work.
The last two questions. First, you, please.
Manuel Köng from Schweizer Radio und Fernsehen.
Swiss Radio and TV. A question to Mr. Zwanziger. You said that FIFA will get its own picture from Qatar. Now, if this is not corresponding to the image presented by the responsible people in Qatar, Are you looking at possible measures to possibly be taken by FIFA? Well, you have always surprising questions. I think one should rather wait and then take action. Now, we have, of course, certain expectations, and the General Secretary has put this down in writing repeatedly. We have received reports according to which things are now going for the better. But this, of course, needs some time. For this reason, we will go there and take a look around. And we expect that the situation will look better than some months ago. And then we will say what kind of improvements we would welcome. But to start uttering threats right now makes no sense at all. The football organization of Qatar makes an effort to remedy the situation and will speak to the trade unions, to the people in charge of economy and politics in the country. Concretely, no, we have no plans. We will proceed step by step. And what we will then have at the end of April or in May, after our visit, we are hoping to see a frank improvement.
Thank you. Sorry.
So there is ongoing negotiations between Palestinian and Israel federations. What's the recent situation?
Thank you for your question. Thank you. The last meeting we have had in February here in Zurich between the two parties. You know the situation between the Israelis and Palestinians concerning the football is the following. We have two national football associations. They are recognized by FIFA, one in the UEFA, the other one in Asia, and they play international and national football. They are two nations. One nation is Israel, the other nation is Palestine. But there's only one country. The Palestinians, they are only on occupied territories. And this makes this situation so very difficult. But we have started, after two meetings, to indicate and to nominate a liaison officer, one for Israel and the other one for Palestine, and it works. It works not perfectly, but it works. The problem is that when people outside of Palestine or even inside Palestine, they want to go to the West Bank, then they have to go to the control of Israel. And then the control of Israel is also based on security, and this, we have to accept that. And now we have said they shall announce 3 weeks in advance when a team or players or whatever will come to the other side, and they shall give the list of these players, the list of the coaches, and then Israel, they can have a look if everybody will receive a visa to come in. And this works now. This works. There has been 1 or 2 little incidents, but finally, with a good understanding, it works. The international situation in the region, naturally, actually, is not very comfortable also for this matter. We have decided that beginning of May, the delegation of FIFA with the representative of UEFA and Asia, we will make a visit again to the political authorities in Palestine, Mr. Abbas, and to meet also the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem. And we hope that at the Congress we can announce that the two countries or the two national associations, they have found the system. The objective would be that sign a kind of memorandum of understanding, but already if they understand each other, it would be good. But anyway, what we want, it's just to play this part of football, connecting people. And here football can help. In the politics now, if you follow the politics, they have some steps to do, or somebody want to do some steps. But it is rather one-sided and not in the interest of both. This is the situation actually. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your interest in the.
Sorry. Please. Do you accept the rules? You accept the rules.
You're saying that FIFA is being in the process of reform. Is that the mission that in 2010 FIFA was hungry and therefore praying to corruption? Mr. Blatter.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in the media. I am your colleague. I am still a member of the IEPS, and I accept the rules when I am somewhere in a press conference. I accept the rules when I'm somewhere invited. 99% of the presence here, they accepted the rules. There are exceptions in the world. We have to accept. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the game.